become a permanent resident. And of course, it's been a long time. She's a Canadian now with her family, right? So she has that kind of experience also. And I don't think they have some grants or some welfare from the government.
I think there is something about 3 to 6 months of grants. I don't know what type of grants they're getting from the government.
Not like the recent refugee Syrian refugees program ngayon. Not just for Syrian but for all any refugees going to Canada, right?
Yeah.
So, sir, have you heard about the temporary protected status in USA?
Yeah, I have heard about it, yeah.
Yeah, so TPS, or Temporary Protected Status Designated Country, especially it's called the Haiti, because back in January 12, 2010 earthquake, which claims more than 300,000 lives. Imagine that, 300,000 lives in one country. And Haiti is a border of another country also.
Yeah, Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So Dominican Republic is basically speaking English and Spanish, right?
Yeah, Spanish.
And then Haiti is
French.
English also, but mostly French there.
That's correct.
300,000 lives. I think that's the most disaster that recorded during our term na may Facebook na, di ba? Kasi merong mas malaki pa niyan before the Facebook exists, right?
Yes.
Or before the internet exists, yeah. Back in the Philippines, nung nag-earthquake tayo ng lindol sa Baguio, can't remember how many people died on that earthquake.
Marami yan.
Marami yun.
By the thousands, I believe.
Yeah, that was, what year was that? 91? I was still in university that time. Yeah, so that was a big impact also sa atin. Of course, the disaster ng dinala ni Haiyan mas malaki ata kaysa earthquake, ano?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the biggest disaster so far recorded in the recent time, right? So itong Haiti na to, the USA helped them.
Yeah.
So they have this new the program in the USA called Temporary Protected Status for Haiti citizens, right? So this allow eligible Haitians and people without nationality who last habitually resided in Haiti, right?
Yeah.
So to re-register for TPS during the 6-month extension. So there is a new extension for them to stay in the USA right now. And this extension is through up to January 22 of next year. So during this extension, Haitians in US with TPS are encouraged to prepare for their return to Haiti in the event of Haiti's designation is not extended again.
Yes.
So the extension was just recently released, or back in springtime, May 24 of 2017, right? So the reason I read this one, because we have a little problem right now in the borders of Quebec, south of Montreal, borders of the New York also. So we have a traffic there of Haitians walking across the border trying to seek asylum in Canada through the south part of Montreal, or Canada also, right?
Yes.
So they liked being there of one reason. What do you think? Why didn't they go to Buffalo and go to Niagara Falls? Why did they choose to Montreal, south of Montreal, New York, state of New York border?
Montreal, Quebec is a French-speaking province of the country.
Yes,
and
that's
they can
right.
Understand the French, because they're speaking French, of course, and it's closer because if they go coming in through Buffalo, English is shall we say, the working language.
It's English
but there. In Quebec or in Montreal, the working language is French, so
that's right.
Easy to communicate. Yeah,
that's right. That's why they choose there. So in the border, if you don't want to get stuck in the border there, and then just stay away from that border, just take the other borders. There's lots of borders around. Besides, it's in a way, it's a little far, of course.
Some are in the West Coast, in the shuttle and BC borders, British Columbia borders. Yeah.
Yeah, so nagkakaroon ng traffic sa border, like walking traffic, hundreds of asylum seekers, and they are saying also, the news was saying, reporting that 250 Haitians like arriving each day in Montreal. Imagine that.
Yeah.
250 each day, and these are like no papers, right?
Yes.
So the government of Canada sent around 100 troops have been deployed to begin setting up heated tents at in Saint Bernard de la Colette, about 40 miles south of Montreal, and directly across the border from Champlain. So that's the town Champlain in New York. So they will accommodate 500 asylum seekers while they wait for border officials process their cases. So basically, they are in the Canada border already, right? So the U.S. and Canada both implemented deportation ban on Haitians after 2010 earthquake. And according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, more than 50,000 people affected have been permitted to remain under TPS. So this is why the Haitians are just walking right now. Because I'm going to read here also later, because they heard some news, some gossips about Canada is so nice to them. That's why they're trying to close the border, right? So there are some false accounts of asylum seekers being automatically allowed to remain in Canada. Have exacerbated the northern migration. 100 have made the crossing in recent weeks, while more than 4,300 asylum seekers have crossed into Canada by foot. Imagine that, by foot. Hindi sila bus, ha? In the first half of this year, 2017 alone. So they didn't really. I bet they are from across USA. Of course, they have to take the train or the bus or airplane whatsoever to the closest part of the Champlain, New York then, right? So there is an enormous amount of fake information circulating saying that it is easy to come to Canada. That was the message by Marjorie Belly-Franch, General Manager of Maison de Haiti, a Montreal community center that assists Haitian immigrants. And also another message that came to this news was they are hearing that Canada doesn't deport people. Of course, Canada deport people, right? But if you are grounded for something.
Yeah, the federal government is trying to correct the situation of border crossing. They have sent some MPs or representatives from the federal government explaining the refugee system being undertaken in Canada, that it's not. It's easy to cross the border, but they have to follow through the usual requirements, the usual procedure of processing and all those things.
That's
they
right.
will not become automatically refugee. They have to file and they have to follow the line, shall we say, the queue.
That's right. And there's it's not an overnight process.
Yes.
We're only talking about the border of that part of New York and Quebec. We also have some asylum seekers up in Manitoba.
Yes,
right?
I believe
So
yeah.
that probably we will tell you guys more, but not today, right? About the asylum seekers in the borders of Manitoba, because they are not Haitians; they're different from other
they
countries.
Could be other nationalities.
Other
or
nationalities.
Nameless, no country or no country nationalities.
That's right. There are some people like that, no country, no nationalities.
Yeah, because they're afraid of the American president, revoking this temporary protected status, and about these illegal immigrants coming from the Philippines or from other countries also. So, yun, kinatatakot nila yun na i-deport din sila.
Yeah.
At there are Mexicans, there are Filipinos, there could be Spanish also. So,
yeah. In Philippines, ano bang tawag sa mga taong ganon? Yung bang pwede silang mag-seek ng asylum kasi wala silang tirahan doon sa atin o hindi na sila Pilipino, ano bang pwedeng itawag natin sa kanila?
The non-status.
NPA.
There you go.
NPA.
Na-pick up ni DJ Ryan, NPA. Ibig sabihin nun, sir. Ano ibig sabihin nun, sir, NPA?
No permanent address.
There you go. So kayong mga no permanent address, yung mga natatakot sa mga AJK dyan, I think they can be qualified for not necessarily in Canada, somewhere else to seek asylum, especially sa ibang barangay. Pwede silang mag-seek asylum sa ibang barangay kung galing sila sa mga malakas na mga nagtutulak na mga droga. They have to go to other city.
Hindi naman kailangan ng visa ron. Lilipat ka lang ng tirahan.
Maghahanap ka lang ng 6 months pa rin ata doon, sir, so that you can have a sidula sa Pilipinas. Hindi na?
Hindi na.
Para mayroon kang voters sa
hindi, kung gusto
Pedabit?
mong voters, di kukuha ka ng kwan sa barangay doon.
Yun nga, at least 6 months you stayed in that barangay.
Pero wala naman makakapagsabi na 6 months ka lang doon. Maaari sabihin mo, 1 taong ka na
There
ron.
you go.
Kaya lang, nagtatrabaho ka sa Maynila, then you go back to your own barangay, halimbawa sa probinsya. So, nakikinig na rin mga kwan doon dahil mga butante, dumadami ang butante. Halimbawa, dayo ka lamang doon, sabihin mo, matagal na ako rito 1 year, ba't di kita nakikita? Kasi nagtatrabaho ko rin sa Tarlac, hindi naman ako pero ang bahay ko sa Pampanga at dito ako buboto.
Yes. Of course, within the Philippines, nangyayari din yan sa atin kasi meron tayong mga tragic na mga calamities problem doon na nangyayari, and then every island got affected by, or not every island, certain island got affected with this kind of calamity, diba? And then they seek asylum, basically not for them to transfer there, but of course because they have no home from the island where they grow up, right? So for example,
hindi naman tawag doon asylum kasi
hindi asylum yun.
Asylum kasi maraming kanya, political asylum, economic asylum. Ang tawag lang doon informal settlers.
Informal settlers.
Noong araw ang tawag diyan yung tawag dito, yung umpisa, hindi ko na matandaan.
Okay. But nonetheless, kagaya nung nangyari sa Hayan na yon, it's like yung mga tao na galing sa Leyte or Samar, and then they have to be fly out from that island to somewhere in Manila, and somewhere in Cebu, ganon, di ba? Or to a bigger city that can accommodate them.
Yeah. Pero ang tawag na ron mga displaced persons. Because they were displaced because of calamity, because of war, laban dito ng ganito. So they are called displaced persons.
So these are exactly the same situation ng mga refugees na galing sa ibang bansa. They are basically displaced of the calamities or war itself na wala na silang babalikan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure kung ang reason nila is ayaw na nilang bumalik, kung pwede pa ba sila ganon. Yun ba?
Karamihan din doon, maraming kaso kasi ang refugee system, may tinatawag na convention refugee, may tinatawag na economic refugee, may tinatawag na prosecution in terms of religious persecution, mga ganon. So maraming reason to apply for asylum or to apply for refugees.
Ngayon, sir, itatanong ko naman sa inyo bago tayo pumunta sa break. Canada government committed how many thousand Syrian refugees by end of February 2016 last year? If you remember those.
20 or 30,000.
So we committed 25,000, right? We meet that commitment already. As of January 29, 2017, Syrian refugees resettled are, how many do you think?
Almost within that range of 25,000.
Okay, as of January 29, Syrian refugees resettled are already at 40,081. So we will tell you more about this refugee status again in Canada after the short messages here in our studio. So stay tuned, kabayan. This is Randy again for Sunday Talk Show and our co-host Mr. Tony San Juan. Thank you. Stay tuned.
Are you selling your home or buying one? Gee, you need help. Fast. Call 416-684-6442. Talk about mortgages, real estate, and everything along that line? Gee, you gotta have assistance. Call direct. 416-684-6442. Still bothered by a lot of questions? You need G. Call her now. 416-684-6442. And look for G. Sell. Your reliable realtor. Her name is synonymous to acquiring your dream home fast. Selling? It's still her. G. Sell. Giselle Mirasol of Remax Realty. Send your inquiries to gisellemirasol@gmail.com. That's GIZELEMIRASOL@gmail.com.
Celis Law, a well-respected law firm by a sought-after lawyer in real estate. Meet Attorney Rosemary Celis. Because some legal documents can be pretty tricky. Whether you're buying or selling, Celis Law, your personal professional counsel, will help you achieve the best possible result and eventually save your precious time and money. With offices in Toronto, 797 Wilson Avenue, Suite 302. In Mississauga, 7125 Pacific Circle, Unit 6. At Celis Law, we'll make sure there's no hidden detail, a missing clause, or things not properly executed. For small claims, family matters, wills and powers of attorney, real estate, or immigration, Celis Law, your access to complete your much-needed transaction. Let us hear from you. 416-242-6927 or 416-633-3606.
What's the purpose of your visit? Do you intend to stay long?
Questions. A lot of questions.
So, what's your concern? Do you have issues on student visa or super visa?
I want to know about family sponsorship.
Business immigration?
How about caregiver program?
Self-employed class?
Tell me more on PR and citizenship applications.
Skilled and temporary workers?
Please enlighten me on express entry. NQCIS has the answers. Northern Quest, Canadian Immigration Services.
Visit their website today, northernquest.ca, or better call them now at 647-302-3508.
NQCIS, your reliable partner to your bright future in Canada.
Magandang balita, mga kababayan. Young and Steele's Pharmacy is now open to serve you. Opo, ang Butika Young at Steele's ay narito na para maglingkod sa inyo. Matatagpuan kami sa plaza, katabi ng St. Paschal Church, just across the Center Point Mall. Kami ang inyong community pharmacy. Narito, hindi lamang sa puso ng Thornhill, Ontario, kundi sa puso ng bawat Pilipino. Young and Steele's Pharmacy with patient-centered services, free medical review, free delivery of prescription, free one-on-one consultation. San ka pa? Ang Butika ng Bayan, Young and Steele's Pharmacy. Bukas na. Tawag na. 905-771-0188.
Scarborough Toyota, we welcome everyone.
Ang Scarborough Toyota ay magkakaroon ng pambihirang Toyota Vaccine Month event. May higit 300 sasakyang pagpipilian. 2017 Toyota Corolla and Camry. Lease or finance at 0% or cashbacks hanggang $1,000 sa 2017 Corolla at aabot sa $2,000 sa 2017 Camry. O pwede naman kumuha ng 2017 RAV4 at 0.49% or lease or finance or get cashbacks of $1,000.
We are Scarborough Toyota.
Bisitahin lamang kami sa scarboroughtoyota.com ngayon. Sale ends this Saturday.
Saan man mapunta, hinahanap-hanap kita. Nais ko ay marinig, ganda ng iyong tinig. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, lumipas man ang panahon. Puso'y di magbabago, ikaw lang aawitin ko. I love Filipino music. Pinoy Radio. I love Filipino music. Pinoy Radio. I love Filipino music. Pinoy Radio. I love Filipino music. Pinoy Radio.
At tayo po'y nagbabalik mga kabayan. This is Randy, Sunday Talk Show with our co-host Mr. Tony San Juan, our DJ Ryan Pepper. Nandito pa rin kaming tatlo. So until 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 1 o'clock in the morning there in Manila or Philippines, right? So mabalik tayo sir. As of January 29, 2017, Syrian refugees resettled are at 40,081.
Yeah.
But of course, this is not just the commitment ng Canada government ng 25,000.
That's correct.
So this is a mix of The government assisted refugees is really 21,876, 3,931 blended visa office referred refugee, and 14,274 privately sponsored refugees.
That's correct.
Yes.
I believe so.
So privately sponsored refugees, marami pong malaking puso ng mga Canadians dito. So ibig sabihin nun, they are the one who put up the money for this family in Canada, across Canada, hindi lang tayo sa Toronto, across Canada ito.
Yes, because there are many Syrian residents also from the West Coast or something.
Yes. So it's kahit Nunavut man or Saskatchewan or Quebec, New Brunswick, British Columbia, of course here in Ontario, Nova Scotia, and some other territories and provinces also, meron tayong mga private citizens, of course, that help the sponsorship for these Syrian refugees. Pero at this moment, I believe it's a little hard to sponsor now. There's lots of questions, and new checklists also just came out, right?
Yes.
So, however, you can still donate if, like, by means of cash or donations or goods or something like that, or if you wanna be volunteer also for the refugees by simply calling 211. Right? Anywhere in the provinces and territories that I mentioned, if you bring up your phone, you dial 211, that's toll free. So, and to know anything about it, and they will be happy to answer you. What's this 211 sa phone or 211.ca in the internet? So this is the Canada's primary source of information on government and community-based health and social services. Hindi po yan 911, ha?
I need 211.
211.
It's especially constructed or built perhaps to offer this.
Yeah, it's the
this
one more
type
time.
of immigration situation. Yeah.
Hindi lang immigration. This is the information on government and community-based health and social services.
Okay.
So that's your answers at 211. If you will dial 311, that's another story.
Okay.
That's for the city of Toronto. If you are in Toronto. If you dial 911, everyone knows.
Yeah.
And if you dial 611, what's a 611?
I don't know.
Yeah, if you have a cell phone, you dial 611. So if you're Fido or Bell or anyone, they will answer you. The provider company answers you. How about 411? This is not free. 411 is not free. It will charge you like 75 cents. What's 411?
No idea.
Highway.
Yeah, wala noon tayong Highway 411 eh. Yeah, if you dial 411, may bayad yan. It's called directory assistance. Your phone provider will provide you actual person. It's not computerized. Someone will answer you if you wanna ask them, can you locate me a phone number of this, blah, blah, blah. Instead of locating yourself into a white or yellow pages, which is, they don't exist anymore, you can call 411. Okay, but going back, 211 can give you some information about the government and community-based health and social services. They are not really the OHEP sa Ontario, but I think you can call them also, and they will put you to the proper number that you can call also. So the Canadian business can help also the refugees. Not only the Syrians, there are some other refugees out there also from other countries, right?
Yes.
Hindi lang po Syrian, yeah.
They can provide employment.
There you go.
Offer employment to Syrians or other refugees too.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what the right now I work in Oakville, and then I think I have 2 or 3 individuals, families are from different countries, from Syria, right, or from Iraq also. That who came here as refugees and working with us.
Yeah, so some are working with the Syrian residents who have businesses like bakery, like car repair shops, and restaurant businesses. So they offer their fellow kababayans also, or fellow Syrians,
Yes.
jobs.
Or if you are just if you are Filipino also, and then who you want to help with the refugees, you don't have, you cannot tell them like, I want the refugees from this certain country. You cannot ask for that, right?
Yeah.
But by just simply going to the website of the cic.gc.ca, that's the Citizenship and Immigration Canada website, I believe they can provide you those information if you wish to help the refugees in Canada. It's hard to request now to become a sponsor of our refugees, because I think as of September 5, they have a new checklist for sponsoring refugees. So you have to follow that checklist, and then it's a long checklist, right?
Yeah.
And then this checklist also, there is what they call the cost of sponsorship. How much do you think it would cost a sponsor by a sponsor to sponsor a single family?
I'm not sure, but you mean the application or processing fee? Maybe
It will cost you for at least 12 months, because you have to support that Syrian. We're just talking Syrian right now, Syrian refugee programs, right? So you have to sponsor them up for at least 12 months. So you need to have at least 13,500 for that one family, right? So it adds up more. Let's say a family of 4 would require you at least 28,000, right? So that's a little big money from your income, right? So if you don't have that money, you cannot sponsor them, right? So
supposing you have the money and you like to sponsor really a family from Syria or somewhere else, is it tax deductible or something?
that's a good question.
Do you think you can, put that under expenses?
When I was reading this one,
whatever expenses.
yeah, when I was reading this one, they always say you have to ask the CRA.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they have the answers on the tax matters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can ask your accountant. It has to be accountant that linked to the CRA, not the accountant from the Philippines. Because wala silang link sa CRA. It has to be a practicing accountant here. Yun ang may sagot doon about the tax, right? About the immigration, that's the CIC. But nonetheless, you need to have that money because pakakainin mo yung pamilya na yon.
And sometimes you have to provide shelter for them.
Yeah, shelter, kasama na yung shelter na yun. Tutulungan mo sila how to develop their English as a second language skills. That's the very, very hard.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough because I have a few experience here for the past 2 years. I have met families from Syria that is really hard for them to adopt the English because unang-una they have no English characters in their mind, right?
Yeah, the other thing that all Syrians don't have, shall we say, money in terms of money, because there's, I don't think all the refugees are more on the economic refugee status. Some of them are wealthy or rich. Only they would like to come over and they like to be sponsored. And once they are here and they have the money, then they can withdraw money from their own bank somewhere outside Syria. So not all of them are economic refugees in the sense. I'm not sure about this, but that's how I felt about this
That's
situation.
True because I met someone like that status. So this someone was a doctor back in Syria, but this doctor back in Syria, he came here alone by himself, and after a year and a half. Because as a refugee, you can only have a refugee status here for 1 year.
Yes.
After 1 year, you need to have your own resources. You need to have your own income, or you need to have your own funds from somewhere else, either locally or internationally, in a legal grounds, right?
Yes.
Not asking for
like
for
some,
bad ones.
30 years ago, during the revolution in Iran, there are many who left Iran. They have their money outside, let's say offshore banking or something. They came as refugees, but in 1 year's time, they were able to establish economically, and because they have the money.
That's right.
The venue only is to be sponsored.
Yeah.
And then once they are in, bring out their own money. So
Yeah.
Because Iran has oil, Syria has oil, compared to the Philippines, we didn't have that much luxury.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if the problem of Syria was really triggered by an oil problem.
The combination of
Yeah,
religious,
it's combination.
economic,
Yeah,
and everything.
I think there's a
and
lots of reason.
political,
Yeah, definitely it's
problem.
political problem, right? Because political is a different story. It's an open, it's broad to any
like in
problem.
Syria, they are against the dictatorship of Assad. So that's more political.
Yes.
And then they are displaced because they belong perhaps to the other party. They belong to a different tribe. It could be the Sunni and the other type. Ano ba yung isa pa? So it could be also religious because some of them are Muslims, and there are different types of Muslims, right?
Right, yeah. So going back to the sponsorship, the government's also telling to become a sponsor, you can allocate at least 2,500 for each additional member, right? And for clothing, individual startup costs with established maximums, right? So for clothing, a one-time basic clothing allowance of 325 per adult and 250 per dependent. But for the winter clothing, there is an additional 175 per adult and 125 per dependent.
Who provides this means for them? Is it the sponsor, or is it coming from
This
the
one
government?
is the sponsor that the government's telling you these are
Okay.
basically your allocation. That
Alright.
the government it has a different numbers. I don't think it's in the website.
Maybe
how much?
the government will provide the temporary health care.
Yes,
later on,
absolutely.
service
Yeah.
or something.
And the good thing here also, even the school startup allowance, you have to allocate at least $150 for school age, and then for attending K to 13, right? So this is only for 1 year sponsorship
Yes.
only. After 1 year, these refugees should have changed their status to a working status. They
Yes.
should have work already, right? So the reason I tell you that, because I knew someone. We go to school for I was only for 6 months, but he went to school for a year. So basically, he came as a refugee in Canada, but back in Syria,
Yes.
he was a doctor.
Yes.
He was an anesthesiologist. So basically, he's not poor guy, and he is very fast in brain. He can memorize things like one read only, because doctors, I believe doctors are like that, right? So they're so fast in reading and memorize right away. And he was literally like that. When we have some exam, he do 100%, because the exam in computer nowadays is just like ABCD. It's not like in engineering you have to do the formula and calculation like that. But in application, it was so hard for him to comprehend the English part. Like when someone's teaching him in class, saying this and that, it was quite hard for him to understand and comprehend the English literature rather than reading the book. So it was big challenge for them. And then after, I think within 2 to 3 years, he became a permanent resident. So when he became a permanent resident, he invited his family. His wife was nurse back home, and then that one child, so one girl child, right? So they are here now for almost 2 years also. So 3 of them are together. However, they are still so lucky that there are some sponsoring individual that offer their house to them.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of paying rental, they don't pay, or very very minimal for this up in the attic or down in the basement or something like that, right? So it's in Toronto, and then this guy who offer his house is like a typical Canadian person that who is very very helpful to this kind of families, the refugees. And it's not only him. There's so many of them out there that I have met them in somewhere in downtown Toronto nearby,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So they are so helpful with these all refugees. And of course, we all know that the news back in the out in the west also, we have some individuals who give them the businesses also to operate the business, right? Rather
Yes.
than selling, they give the business to this Syrian family.
Yeah.
And the Syrian family
Yeah.
owns that and operates that now.
I don't know whether there could be a parallel case or promotion in terms of asking also our people from Mindanao, our kababayans from Mindanao, to apply also for refugee status because there's war in Mindanao.
But that's just a city of Marawi City,
Yeah,
or
but,
even if they say the southern part of Mindanao. When you go to the northern part of Mindanao, let's say I've been in and out for dozen of times in Cagayan de Oro.
Yes.
Cagayan de Oro is northern part of Mindanao. There's no war there. It's very simple. Like you're in Cebu, you're like in Manila.
Let's say you're
They can always move there.
let's say you're an established Marawian, or we call
Yes.
it. I believe you can ask, you can file for refugee status also because your city or whatever, your province is under states and there's declared war zone. So I believe it could be, but very few Filipinos maybe are thinking that way. I mean to say Mindanaoans or people from
Yeah.
Marawi are thinking
Well,
that
my
way
comment there, I don't think they can be qualified because the government of Philippines can really accommodate them. Right? So they can be relocated anywhere in the Philippines, I should say. Because the Philippines itself, we ask for donations, of course,
Yeah.
but we have lots of fundings. That's billions of dollars
Yes.
coming into the Philippines to the Filipinos also from outside the Philippines.
I remember Typhoon Haiyan some 3 or 4 years ago. When was that?
2013, I believe so.
Yeah, 3
Yeah,
or 4 years
2013,
ago,
yeah.
there were many Filipinos who were fast track.
Yeah.
It's immigrants
Right.
in the pipeline that were fast track because of Typhoon Haiyan. But how many took advantage of that? Out of 1,500 or 1,500, only about 700 applied.
Yes,
for the
because
fast
the
track.
fast track means their sponsoring party family are already here,
Yeah.
and then they applied their, for example, their family, their cousins, or I'm not sure if they can petition their cousin, but their parents and their children, they got affected with Haiyan. They got fast track. They overtake everyone's that from other part of the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
So that's what happened there. I'm not sure how many families
Yeah,
that Canada
according
helped
to
that time.
reports, it's only half. About 1,500 families have been determined
Yes.
to be in the fast track file, but only about 700 took advantage of that. I don't know why.
Well, definitely it's like that because coming here to Canada is not free.
Yeah, it's very expensive though.
It's very expensive, right? These Syrian refugees, not all of them don't have any money, but I think most of them were settling somewhere in the United Nations area,
Yeah.
right? They were sitting there for days, for weeks, for years, and the United Nations have helped them.
They are
And
in the
it's-
refugee camps.
They have the refugee camps outside Canada. We don't know where. It
Yeah.
could be from the border of Syria. It can be in Germany. I'm not sure if USA have that also.
Mostly in Jordan and Yemen and Saudi
Okay.
Arabia. Yeah.
That's right. So this is just one country, right? So, but we will talk more about these refugees and a system here in Canada when we come back after our last few messages here in studio. This is Randy here, Sunday Talk Show. Stay tuned, kabayan.
Are you selling your home or buying one? Gee, you need help. Fast. Call 416-684-6442. Talk about mortgages, real estate, and everything along that line? Gee, you gotta have assistance. Call direct. 416-684-6442. Still bothered by a lot of questions? You need G. Call her now. 416-684-6442. And look for G. Sell. Your reliable realtor. Her name is synonymous to acquiring your dream home fast. Selling? It's still her. G. Sell. Giselle Minasol of Remax Realty. Send your inquiries to Giselle Minasol at gmail.com. That's GIZELEMIRASOL at gmail.com.
Celis Law, a well-respected law firm by a sought-after lawyer in real estate. Meet attorney Rosemary Celis because some legal documents can be pretty tricky. Whether you're buying or selling, Celis Law, your personal professional counsel, will help you achieve the best possible result and eventually save your precious time and money. With offices in Toronto, 797 Wilson Avenue, Suite 302, in Mississauga, 7125 Pacific Circle, Unit 6. At Celis Law, we'll make sure there's no hidden detail, a missing clause, or things not properly executed. For small claims, family matters, wills and powers of attorney, real estate, or immigration, Celis Law, your access to complete your much-needed transaction. Let us hear from you. 416-242-6927 or 416-633-3606. Sasakyan ba ikaw mo? Toronto Auto Group ang puntahan mo. 2380 Lawrence Avenue East, Scarborough, Ontario. Makakaasa ka at walang duda. Sa Toronto Auto Group, everyone gets approved. 99% guaranteed. When you talk of car loans, tag it. Madali ang usapan. With branches in Oshawa, Trenton, Belleville, Thunder Bay, and Sudbury. Visit their website, torontooutogroup.ca. Because when you know it's time and the moment is right, simply tag it. We are just 10 digits away. Call Maria Cruz Fernandez, 416-939-5610. Licenciado Filipino at handang maglingkod sa'yo. Toronto Auto Group, your used car superstore.
Panahon na! Level up with your iRemit Visa card, a prepaid ATM card with no maintaining balance required. It's time to get your own iRemit Visa card today. Remittance received by your beneficiary in seconds. Withdraw from more than 14,000 BankNet, Megalink, and Express ATMs in the Philippines
and worldwide.
With iRemit Visa cards, convenient and cashless shopping.
You can even pay your bills with iRemit Visa card.
Pin protected with Europay MasterCard Visa. EMV chip technology for added security. Visit an iRemit office near you. Sa iRemit, may ngiti sa bawat padala.
What does it take to realize your dreams? To get you there, a vision and positive steps. The same goes to your financial future. At World Financial Group, we help middle-income families identify their dreams. It's never too early to start working towards your dreams. So I suggest you call Agnes Miranda today. Telephone number 416-702-9693. To secure your family's future, think of World Financial Group.
Mula Bukang Liwayway hanggang Takip-Siling, PinoyRadio.com. Inyong kapiling 24/7.
In entertaining the global Pinoy,
We go above and beyond.
On air everywhere. Listen in. Look at us. Now streaming live.
On the road and rising. Reaching more Filipinos abroad.
Ito ang Radyo ng Pilipino.
Across the nation, around the world.
Pinoy Radio. This time, it is everything and more.
You are listening to PinoyRadio.com. I love Filipino music.
All right, so welcome back here. It's almost 1 in the afternoon po. At stay tuned pa rin dito sa Pinoy Radio because after our show here, we have the Pinoy Radio Center Stage and we have our guest, Ms. Maria Tess Panaligan, right? So she will sing on you with our DJ Ryan Paper. All right, sir. Have you heard about the Quebec is canceling its plan to distribute welfare checks to asylum seekers at Montreal's downtown convention center?
Is it welfare check coming from the Quebec government or something?
Yeah. This was last August 29. It was published by the CTV News. So that the province employment department announced today or that day it will instead hand out checks to refugee applicants inside the temporary shelters that have been erected around the Montreal area. So Quebec says there are about 3,000 checks will be distributed in shelters and the rest mailed directly to the private residences into which asylum seekers have already moved. So roughly there are 8,000 people, mostly Haitians, have crossed Quebec from the U.S. since June. We're just talking since June.
Yeah, because it's an attraction. If you are offering money, then the more refugees will come over to Quebec.
Yeah,
but they are thinking also that the ones out of this 7 or whatever number is
I'm gonna say that what number it
in
is.
the near future, they become residents. They become voters.
Absolutely,
So
not just voters. They will be part of the province economy also.
That's correct.
That's you have to look at that way.
Paying taxes. So
yeah,
you know,
they will generate revenue and income, of course. So the basic monthly welfare payment for a person who lives alone in Quebec is 642.92 cents. So asylum seekers are being asked to move out of the government's temporary shelters and into private residences after they received their money, because that's a good amount of monthly. $640.
At least it will help. It will help. $600 is, although small, but it will at least help certain families to tide up some of their bills or expenses. Or
That's right. So going back to the Syrian refugee integration, 1 year after arrival. So what do you think they're doing after 1 year?
They're still adjusting. They're still looking. Maybe some are still looking for jobs. Some are still adjusting, settling in their newfound jobs. Some are still learning the English language or the French language, whatever. Some are still adjusting to the climate.
That's right.
And many other things.
So the Syrian refugee integration, so when resettled refugees first arrive in Canada, they do not receive provincial social assistance. Income support for most resettled refugees is provided for their first year in Canada by the federal government, private sponsors, or a mix of both. So when income support from the government or private sponsors ends after 12 months in most cases, but there are still some that's still in support, right?
Yes.
It is normal occurrence for some refugees to transition to provincial or territorial social assistance support. They always have the option to go back to where they come from, right? So it's they're liking it here anyways, right? So no matter what, everyone likes here, So the federal government works closely with our resettlement assistance program service provider organizations to ensure that the refugees who may require ongoing financial support beyond the first year are connected with the appropriate provincial resources. So basically, they are really turned into a provincial tax now, right? So eligible refugee families also continues to receive the Canada Child Benefit credit beyond the 12-month mark. So the federal benefit combined with the federal goods and services tax rebate and the provincial tax rebate will provide ongoing support to families with children of eligible age. So in Ontario, let's talk about Ontario because we are in Ontario, right?
Yes.
So this could equate to an annual maximum of 6,400 for each child.
For each?
For each child.
Okay.
Not adult, right? So for each child, the maximum is 6,400 and 5,400 for each child between 6 and 17. So if it's below 6, it's 6,400. When up to 17, it's 5,400 from 6 to 17, right? So rates are determined based on the level income and the number of the children. So if this refugees turns into an income maker,
yes.
So this child benefit will go lower, just like everyone else in Canada here, just like everyone else, So rates vary across province and territories, and detailed estimates can be found on the Canada Revenue Agency website. So go there and you can see everything, right?
Yes.
And of course, employments is another story. So the first time they become refugee, they cannot really work right away. They have a different kind of status, right? But they can apply for working visa, I believe so. And that's the time they can start look for working. If not working visa, they should have a SIN card, right? So that they can work. So like many previous refugee population, Canada has resettled many of the recent wave of Syrian refugees have limited or no English or French language skills at all. So lack literacy skills even in Arabic, and have limited formal education. But the people that I have encountered as Syrians, they're professionals so far. So it's another situation.
Well, I don't know whether this type of Syrian refugees have been classified or categorized into something with money or something without money or something, from the poverty sector in Syria, or we exactly don't know. Because
Yes, that's right. It is important to note that while income support ends after 12 months, other federal supports continues. For example, language training and employment-related support services continue to available until refugees become Canadian citizens.
Yes.
Right? So this is not only even in Assyrian. I have met families also from Colombia. Right? They are refugees from Colombia.
Yeah,
and then
because there's some sort of little than civil war in the Colombian area.
we are
FARC.
Yeah, I believe if I'm not mistaken, we will be expecting more Venezuelan refugees also.
Yes,
because they are in almost the same situation also, right?
Yeah.
And economic, and they have their own internal problem there, which we need to help them also.
Yeah.
It's not too far from us, but of course they can always cross to the countries besides them.
Yes,
They are south of them.
Lang. If you 100 kilometers, kung ang Pilipinas nga lang walang nagsiseparate ng tubig,
Yeah.
Pacific Ocean,
That will be
nilangoy
different.
na ng mga kababayan natin ang papuntang States o papuntang Canada.
Yes, absolutely. So looking the future here, so in response to, we have responded already to the Syrian refugee crisis. Canada resettled more than 40,000 Syrian refugees right now. So the effort was an exceptional and time-limited situation, which required additional requirements as well as special measures, right? So which were temporarily put in place right now. So although some things are unique to the Syrian Resettlement Initiative, they continue to inform our processes as we forward to help all refugees population. So not only for the Syrian, we are open to anyone out there out of Canada. If you're inside Canada, well, that's not refugee. You're already here.
Yeah.
So you are an asylum seeker if you have your reason why you are asylum seeking, right? So because if you are a tourist, but if you're a permanent resident, you can't refuse anymore. You're a permanent resident, right?
Yeah, but the Syrian case is quite different from the Haitian case. In the terms of Syrian, they are as good as settled already, or they are as good as in. But in terms of the Haitian, they still have to go through the process of determining whether they are really, qualified to become, shall we say, refugees or not. Because some of them might have some. I'm not saying they have criminal records, but they might have a bad record in the United States, and they're trying to avoid.
Yeah, that's another problem right
so
now.
they're being processed in such a way that
I believe they're processed in the U.S. territory, U.S. inside border, not in Canada. If that's so, it should be like that. Because if they're in Canada, it's another story.
But there's no such thing as pre-crossing the border examination or pre-departure or pre-departure screening.
That's right.
Mostly they are being screened once they are inside Canada. And,
well, that's really good, sir, right? So I hope that our kababayan have learned about the refugee system in Canada. But of course, if you want to know more, there are always, like, you can go the CIC.ca, rather, CIC.gc.ca. That's where you find your immigration and citizenship information about Canada also and everything. If you are from the Philippines and if you want to know how to get into Canada, all the answers are there. Not from someone, some individual, okay?
There are probably 2 or 3 types of Filipinos that we have that
right now,
perhaps apply for refugee or asylum here. One who are already here in Canada,
seekers,
and one coming from the Philippines, exiting the Philippines, and one perhaps coming from the United States or a friendly country.
All right.
So in that case, if you have the money or if you have the means and you have the family here in Canada, I suggest you try to contact and consult an immigration lawyer. To help
Yeah,
you
immigration
out.
lawyer, of course. If you can go with that, they know everything. They will represent you in the CIC because it's not easy to get in touch with CIC itself. Well, nonetheless, we are so happy that you are watching and listening to us right now here. We will be back on the 29th of October because next Sunday it's still gonna be a Giselle show. So stay tuned for today. Also stay tuned for the Pinoy Radio Center stage with DJ Ryan Pepper because he has Maria Teresa Panaligan, right? So she's a good singer and performer, of course. You have to watch and listen her. So once again, this is Randy Bukaw Sunday Talk Show with my co-host Tony San Juan.
And this is Tony San Juan. Paalam na po at ingat lang kayo and have a good weekend until next October 31st.
October 29 we'll be back.
29.
So
okay.
see you sometime in 2 weeks. Okay, thank you and have a good day.